Welcome to another edition of Capras TV, proudly brought to you by TFH Hire Services. Joining me today is the under-16 Cyril Connell coach, Dwayne Carpenter. Welcome, Dwayne.
Thanks for having me, Paulie.
Yeah, now, before we get started talking about the Cyril Connell team, I'll just do a quick around the grounds for round 3 in the HPC and BMD results. 24-4 for the HPC boys over the Northern Pride. The BMD, our open women girls, went down 50-6 in a tough match against the South Magpies. Round 6 for our junior sides, Harvey Norman under-19s team, 42-0 win over the Northern Pride. Oswide Bank, Malmaninga went down 44-16, and our under-16 Cyril Connell team had a great win, 46-6 over the Northern Pride on the weekend. Welcome, Dwayne.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Paulie. And yeah, it was a good win for the boys on the weekend.
Yeah, so 4 wins and 1 loss over the season so far, and you've gone to your final game against Mackay this weekend. Talk to us how that's going to look.
Yeah, look, going against Mackay, doesn't matter what grade again, going up that highway for that away trip is always a tough. There's Mackay, they're a pretty hostile crowd there towards the Capras. There's a good rivalry there between the two clubs. So, we had a good win against Mackay in the earlier rounds, but playing up there at BB Prince Stadium, we know we're going to have a pretty tough task ahead of us, so we're not taking it lightly. Yeah,
and talk to us about the pre-season. Started back in November with the under-16 boys, and they've trained really well. They've come a long way, and especially with the pathway that's now being created through the Dolphins, especially, and with David Foimu in the pathways as well. So talk to us about your pre-season and how the boys prepared.
Yeah, we had a pretty extensive trial process. So our trial process goes over 4 weeks. And over those 4 weeks, we saw over 120 players from across the region trialling. So getting those players down to 30 in January is always a tough process, but we had a really good program that seems to be working really well for us, and it's a program that works well with the Capras and also the Dolphins as well. So that pathway in development, and that's what we're here for. The 16s is purely a development pathway and introduction into the state league system, and more importantly, I guess, for the club in the region, it's the boys' first taste of being a Capra, and that's why we take our job so seriously. It's make sure that we're getting the right cattle that can be our future cup players. But also it's a good experience for them. They want to keep playing for the club as well. The pre-season went really well. A lot of first time the boys have been that level of conditioning, a lot of level of strength training and level of skill training. But this group has adapted really well to it, and from a football level, and I guess from a culture level, they've really bought into what the club's about, particularly around our values and standards. And they keep going from strength to strength.
Excellent. And I do know you mentioned to them on the weekend that they would be probably the final under-16 side to play at the current Brown Park venue. And how did they embrace that? I mean, they had a great win, obviously, but in front of a big crowd on the weekend, and to get to the 2 points, especially with a 46-6 win.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about a lot of things like Lionel speaks to, my family, our region, our legacy. So this weekend was focused on our legacy. We were going to be the last under-16 Capras side to play at Brown Park, and what do we want to leave as our legacy? And that was our aim for the weekend. And I thought the boys really strong performance. That our first 30 minutes is probably the best 30 minutes of football I've seen under-16 team play, particularly under my reign as a head coach. So I thought that was a really good legacy to leave as we walked away at full time.
And any standouts on the weekend? Any players?
Oh yeah, lots of standouts. I guess our halves have been really strong. Tyler Melrose and Will McLaughlin, I think they really took control of that game, and both very different players, but they're really starting to complement each other. Tyler's a very controlling game manager. Will McLaughlin's that X factor, especially down the short edge. So those two boys did really well. I think Jake Murphy bagged a hat trick there on the weekend in the centres, but the platform was laid. Jake Hobart was always strong again. Zach Bateman's come back from injury. Brock Otto really, I thought, stood up really well. And I guess in Harrison Hill, the shortest second row in the under-16 competition, he just goes from strength to strength. He's been one of our best all season.
He's a good lad, yeah. So this weekend we're off to Mackay, heading up. You've got an early start on Saturday morning, heading with the boys up about 4:45 a.m. to get up there for a 10 a.m. start. So we've got all 6 teams playing this weekend in Mackay, and we've got the HDC boys having a trial. They start on the 29th of April, so their season is approaching, and they'll be looking forward to having a second trial up there. I'm sure Rooster's got his boys keen up there, so it's going to be a big day of footy. Good luck for this weekend. I'd like to thank Dick and Katrina Anderson from TFH Hire Services for coming on board as our sponsor, and we're our game day sponsor on the weekend for a really successful day. So thank you very much for watching Capras TV, and we'll see you next week.